Good evening, good morning, whenever you're watching this. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is Wednesday here at the Balanced Distribution Warehouse. I am a little tired, going to be honest. It's been a crazy few weeks. I'll get into it in a little bit, but I am very happy to be here. Feels like it's been stretches of time between Gear Talks, and I always try to do it every other Wednesday. That is my goal. I think it's been 3 weeks this time. This has been a weird one. So I actually had a bit of a health scare. Not that that was why I didn't do Gear Talk, but it's definitely complicated things and made things a little bit more difficult to live my life. About a month ago, I think, maybe 2 months ago, I started getting this weird lump in my throat when I would eat or when I would drink. And I could feel like this, like a lump. And I went to the doctor and had them take a look, and they said, oh, it's probably nothing. See if it, sticks around. And it left, and then it came back, a few weeks later. And my, spidey senses started going off. I'm like, what the heck is this thing? Why is it making me feel weird? So I go into the doctor again, and I say, hey, it's back. What do I do? And they say, okay, well, let's schedule an ultrasound. Let's get it sorted out. So I go to the ultrasound a couple days later, and they're checking my neck. And they say, okay, the thing that was on this side is just a lymph node that got swollen. No big deal. It's clear, which means there's no problem. It's a part of your body. You got lymph nodes all over your body, and they get inflamed. If your body is fighting something, no big deal. So, no issues, no concerns. But they found a few other lymph nodes in my neck that were inflamed as well. So there was one over here that was even bigger than this one. And then there was one a little bit lower, which wasn't really big, but it was still abnormal, a little bit bigger. And they had a difficult time getting the ultrasound to read that lymph node. So instead of just saying, okay, he's fine, clean bill of health, they said, okay, let's do a CT scan so that they can rule out any weirdness, right? And that obviously was like, oh, what the hell? Googling a lymph node, whatever problems or whatever. And of course, cancer comes up. And I'm like, Jesus, what the hell is going on? A lot of us know Joey. I don't know his last name, but I honestly didn't know him very well. But he, California guy, came up and said, hey, during Blading Cup, really, really great guy. Unfortunately, we lost him a few months ago to a mixture of lymphoma and something else he was battling. It's the worst. And, my heart goes out to him and his family. If you, don't have any, if you have a little extra cash, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. There's a GoFundMe up there. I donated some money, but I was nervous, very nervous. So I had a CT scan. Thankfully, everything went smoothly. I didn't have any issues, and it came back clean. But man, talk about a crazy week. So very, very scary. I'm 47, and I've lost a lot of friends to cancer. And that's crazy. You get to that age where you start losing friends. And it's like, dude, this is no joke. So only thing that I can say is if you start feeling something funky, it is always best to get it taken a look at quickly rather than push it off and say, oh, it's probably nothing. Had there been an issue, I would have caught it early and they would have been able to address it. I highly recommend if anybody out there is having any health issues or any scares or any just concerns, definitely go see your doctor about it before it's too late for them to do much about it. I have another friend who's dealing with stage 3 something right now. And even our friend Mike Powell, who did the Powell Street, the Powell Movement podcast, is dealing with it as well. It's bad. Cancer is everywhere, and it's impacting your life more than you know it. So definitely, again, I didn't have any concerns, but I'm glad that I was able to go and get it taken a look at. If you are having a problem, if you're noticing anything funky, if you're loss of energy for some reason, or if you're losing weight for some reason, or if you have a low-grade fever that just sticks around for a while, headaches that just stick around for a while, or definitely any noticeable lumps or changes in your body mass, definitely go take a look. You know, you're old enough. We love you. We want you to stick around. You have family and friends. It's important to take care of yourself and take care of your body. Not trying to be preachy or anything, but definitely had a scare, and it always helps me to help others. So definitely try to pay it forward. I hope everybody out there is being healthy and staying healthy. Drink lots of water. Definitely water is a good thing. Keeps you hydrated, keeps you going. Lay off the caffeine as much as you can. Lay off the alcohol as much as you can. I've quit drinking. I was a pretty, I wouldn't say heavy drinker, but definitely a routine drinker. It's kind of a nighttime ritual that I enjoyed, a little bourbon before bed. Not before bed, obviously, but I enjoyed a little bourbon as I was winding down my day after I get the kids to bed. It's just a nice way to sit back, watch some YouTube, and have a drink. But I stopped doing that. I switched over to tea, and we have some different drinks non-alcoholic drinks that I've been taking. But really trying to focus on the health. You know, this was something that I don't know, everything kind of, you know, the gears start moving. You're like, what would happen if, you know, like I got this big skate project. What would happen if I weren't around to help, you know, have it do its thing? I've got a family, you know, what would happen if I wasn't around to help them, and, you know, all my commitments and everything. So take care of yourself. All right, enough of that. I'm actually in a really good mood. I hope everybody else is too. I hope to share this energy and this positivity to you tonight, and love that you're able to join me tonight. Hope that we have a nice show. All right, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Gear Talk episode 117. And actually, I think it's 118. Isn't it 118? I think it's 118. Gear Talk is the show that I do every other week, where we talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. If you know the difference between 270 and 250, you know which ones fit best on your feet, you've come to the right place. Gear Talk is where we take away the mystery of skate configurations and dial in your setup so that every time you go out there and you hit the streets, you have the best session imaginable. The only thing you can blame is yourself. You can't blame the gear if you listen to Gear Talk. It should be a tagline. I should put that on a t-shirt. We do this every other Wednesday live on YouTube. So if you are able to join us in the live stream, it is a great opportunity to ask questions for people in the chat. There's usually a few dozen people who hang out in the chat and ask questions. As always, I would love to answer your question. It's a really good chance to ask questions that you might have a difficult time getting an answer for if you're just using Google, or if you're asking on Facebook. I saw an answer a couple days ago, I think, where somebody was asking, they were a hockey player and they wanted to get into rollerblading, and they went to rollerblading, and they asked a question about getting new skates because they wanted to transition from ice to roller, and somebody recommended Razor's SLs because that's a thing. But if you are one of those people who are trying to get answers to your questions and you can't seem to get something figured out, this is a great opportunity to ask. I don't know everything, but I'm fairly knowledgeable about all things inline skate related. And if I don't know, somebody in the chat probably does. Always great about pointing people in the right direction so that they can find more information. Before we do get started, I'd like to thank my friends over at thehelmetinitiative.org for helping with our helmet giveaway. I am a big proponent of wearing your helmet when you skate. I think it's really important that we take care of ourselves, take care of our bodies. When we go out and skate, every time we hit the streets, there's a possibility that you're going to fall down. And every time you fall down, there's a possibility that you could hit your head. The street is not level. Unless you're going to a hockey rink where it's completely clean and brushed out of sticks and it's flat and there's no cracks, there is always the potential that you're going to hit a crack, that you're going to run into somebody, that you're going to trip over a twig or something like that. I've seen skaters of all ability levels fall and hit their head. I fall a lot, and I've been skating for about 30 years. Doesn't matter how good of a skater you are, it's just bound to happen. Eventually, you skate enough, you're going to fall down. You fall down enough, eventually you're going to hit your head. Why not take out a little bit of insurance? Put your helmet on when you go out and skate. If you need a helmet, we are here to help. So my friends over at the helmetinitiative.org have sent me a bunch of helmets to give away. And I've been giving away one helmet for every episode of Gear Talk. Helmets usually run about $50-$60, and I know that, that's a lot of money. It's a set of wheels and bearings. It's a set of replacement frames. It's maybe a new liner. It's definitely the last thing that you want to buy because you're not using your helmet until you need your helmet. It's just a thing that you have on your head. And sometimes you can go session upon session upon session and it is completely clean. Nothing wrong with it. But that one time that you fall down and you hit your head, you're going to be thankful that you had your helmet. I see it every week. Somebody posting on Facebook or on the Slack or on Instagram about how they had a fall and how they were wearing their helmet and it saved them and they didn't have any problems, or how they had a fall and they weren't wearing their helmet and they ended up in the hospital. It is an easy decision. Just wear your helmet every time you go out and skate. You won't get seriously injured. Now, if you are in the US, all that you need to do is go to backtoblading.com/helmet. I'll put a link in the show notes, not show notes, but the chat.com/helmet. I usually have this open, but it was a busy day. Oops, backtoblading.com, _. Backtoblading.com will not work, but backtoblading.com/helmet is the place to go if you need a helmet. If you're in the US, would love nothing more than to send you a helmet. I will pick somebody at random. I will find their information. I will get your size. I will get your mailing address, and I will send you a helmet. If you're outside of the US, same rules apply. Enter to win. One winner out of everybody that's entered will get a helmet this episode of Gear Talk. If you're outside of the US, though, I won't mail you a helmet because it can get expensive. It costs me a lot of money to mail internationally, and then it's going to cost you money to import that internationally. I don't want you to go out of pocket for anything. I want this to be a completely free helmet, no strings attached. We want to take care of you. We want to help you out. If you're internationally, instead of giving you a helmet, we will send you $50 in your in American, whether PayPal or Venmo, whatever works best for you. We'll get you money so that you can buy yourself a helmet locally. It's something that I think everybody should have access to. Doesn't matter where you are. Some places, $50 can get you more than a helmet. I don't need to know about that. All I need to know is that helmets here in the US are about $50. That's what we've budgeted every week. So I want to make sure that everybody out there has an opportunity to win, regardless of where you are. I'm able to do this giveaway for a few reasons. First, obviously my friends over to the Helmet Initiative have sent me a bunch of helmets to give away. And we love them. We love their support. Second way is we do ads on the YouTube channel. So we haven't been posting as many skating videos lately. I will get to that. I will talk about that very soon. But the Gear Talk and the other videos, we do run ads on those and we make a few $100 a month. Not a crazy amount of money, but enough that we can help with the Helmet Initiative, help keep the lights on here, help the bandwidth going, help get products for review, help send people to events. We've done a lot of good things with that budget. The final way is with our Patreon. Patreon.com/backtoblading is where you can learn more information. We don't do a ton at the Patreon. We do a podcast. My friend Ben and I do a podcast. We will release the Patreon version a few days early, so you'll be able to listen before anybody else. We also occasionally do extra audio that we do exclusively for the Patreon, so a little bit of extra something there. There are a few photos and videos that I put up there whenever I do a live stream. I always post that live stream up if you want to watch me and some of my friends skate the warehouse. We'll post that up there. But really, this is an opportunity for people who have a little bit of extra income just to support the channel. If you want to help what I'm doing, if you want to support what I'm doing and get more helmets on people's heads, it's a great way to help out. Patreon.com/backtoblading is the place to go to learn more information. Even $1 a month, you wouldn't think it would make much of a difference, but it all adds up, and end of the day, it helps us do what we do here. Again, thanks to everybody for all the support. Thanks to our friends over at Patreon, and thanks to the helmetinitiative.org for helping us with our helmet giveaway. All right, let's talk about my current setup. Now, this isn't going to be the big talk. That talk, I'll let you all know when that talk is happening, and you'll know when that talk is happening. I can talk a little bit about that. So I've been working on a skate of my own, a skate that I've developed from the ground up over the last 3 years to skate the way that I love to skate. If you've watched any of my videos and my reviews, you know that I have skated every skate on this wall. Well, pretty much every skate on this wall. Some of them are just for show. Some of them are the wrong size or they're too old, they'll break. But I've skated more skates than are shown here on the wall, probably 20 or so skates. And I've loved a lot of things about those skates, but none of those skates did everything that I wanted. So I said, I'm going to look at all of these skates and I'm going to add a few things that I wish that they had, and I'm going to make the perfect skate for me. And we've been working on that project for a few years now. I've actually got a pair that I've been skating for the last 3 months. Testing has gone great. We have the final samples, so the texture added with the new shock absorbers, brand new mold for shock absorbers. I wouldn't have never thought that there would be a mold for shock absorbers that I would own, but I own a mold for shock absorbers. New liner design, the new frames, the new sole plates, everything is done. The hardware, the mounting hardware, the axles, all of that new stuff that we've been working on, everything is done. We're waiting on the final samples. So we had the first samples come in a couple weeks ago and they looked great. But there were a few things we wanted to tweak, a few little tolerance issues that we wanted to clean up, a few little material changes that, when you're dealing with a factory and we've got so many decisions that we've had to make, sometimes the decisions get rolled back or they regress a little bit. So just giving them, this is a perfect skate plus, can you add this, can you add that, can you tweak that? So they are taking that consideration. They are sending us the final. It should be here next week. At the same time, these samples that I had, we did a video over the last weekend. So my friend Ryan Timms came by and set up in the warehouse in the mini ramp and filmed a quick little talking bit, kind of introducing Standard, introducing the skate, introducing the brand and what I'm all about and why this skate is so important to me and why I've spent 3 years of my life investing time and making all of these little decisions about what material should be on the heel raise pad in the back of the liner or what hardness the shock absorber should be. I seriously got my durometer out to see how hard a shock absorber should be compared to other shock absorbers. It's been a lot of stuff. If you like skates where somebody has sweat the details and has built a skate around all the videos that I've made, you will absolutely love these skates. We have a video coming out, hopefully within the next week or so, that explains everything about the skates. It's the introduction. It will be our official announcement of the skates. After that, I'm going to do the gear talk where I get to break down the skates and I get to explain to you in a more geeky way what makes these skates great and all of the considerations that we made, from the angles to the hardnesses of materials to the textures of the materials that we've used for the liners. All of the decisions that we've made, I will break everything down. I've got a punch list of things that we've made. I don't have a number, but it's like 30 or so decisions that we've made, that we made sure that these skates hit all of those, that list of things that we think should be a standard on all skates. So that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully in 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be chatting together. It might be 3 weeks. It just depends on how quickly we can move. But that is the next steps. From a production perspective, so I told you that the 44 that I'm skating now, it's actually our 295 shell. So the 295 shell is the shell that you use if you are a size 44, 28.5 centimeter foot. You can bring your own liner so you can squeeze into something a little bit different. We're listing the shell internal measurements instead of the skate foot size measurements. And the reason for that is we want to make sure that people have options for liners. They're not set in, oh, this is a size 10 skate. No, it's actually a size 295 millimeter length boot. You can put whatever liner you're in, you can sit on it, you can figure out which one fits. Anyway, that one's done. Sole plates, all the hardware, frames, boots, everything. The 3 other shells should be done in 2 weeks. So we placed the order for those additional shells a month and a half ago, I think. And end of this month, we should have those shells for testing, which means that I can finally have all 4 shell sizes available. So our team can start skating them because I'm the only one with a 44. Our team can start skating them. We have a few friends who can start skating them and test them out, give us that last final feedback, and then we will start production. It is a little later than I had hoped. I was hoping that we would be here by now, that we would be in production already, and that we would be shipping by now. Things happen. China sometimes takes longer than you plan. That's just the way that it is. But I'm doing my best to keep you updated. I apologize for the lack of updates the last couple of weeks. It's been a really busy heads down time, but I guarantee you they will come hot and heavy over the next couple of months. So keep subscribed here. Check out Standard Skate Co. on the Instagram. Go to standardskate.co. Bookmark that website if that's a bookmark thing that people bookmark anymore. We've got a ton of information. We've got a ton of photos and videos and specs and downloads and things that you can do to get involved and see everything that I've been dreaming up over the last few years. Really, really excited. If you cannot tell, this has been taking over my life for the last few months, but I'm so excited to finally be at a point where I can share everything with you. Long story short, my current setup, I can't share it with you right now. I was skating them over the last couple of weeks though. I'm skating with the stock frames. I'm skating a flat 58mm setup. Absolutely loving them, feeling as though I am skating as good in this flat setup as I do with anti-rocker. I can even do my back farv if you know how hard it is for me to do a back farv skating flat. It is hard to do a back farv skating flat. No sticking on back farvs, no bite on back royale. I feel like these frames are going to be really great for flat, but they're also really good for anti-rocker. And at my age, with my knees, being able to do all of those on a ledge is really saying something. And I don't get to skate as much as I used to, but I'm feeling really confident about this setup. It's a really dialed in fit, so I'm super, super happy with it. Not only that though, I was skating those and I can't really share those with you, but I skated big wheel. So we had the Compass team out here a couple weeks ago, which was amazing. I was able to fly everybody out here for a weekend. We got to hang out, we got to eat, we got to just talk about strategy for the next few years. I'm really excited about the potential of Compass. You'll see a lot more coming from that brand in the next couple of months. The one thing that we do have, so I was skating these Compass frames on the standards. These are the 72mm Compass frames. If you haven't seen the Compass frames, they are a UFS plastic frame. They are a 260mm length. So this is 260mm from front to back. Usually I skate 270. 260 actually feels really nice. And 260 is short enough that people with smaller feet can still get away with it. The brilliance of it is, if I can say so myself, is that by going 260, we can still access the UFS bolt. You can see the UFS bolt in the middle. So if you're out there skating aggressive and you're doing anti-rocker and then you want to go skate around town, all you have to do is pop off the frames, put these frames on, and put the 2 bolts in. You don't have to remove the middle wheels in order to access the UFS bolts. Huge time saver. I know that it's an annoyance to have to take the wheels off. Trust me, I do. I love like 90mm frames, but when skating 90mm frames, it's numerically impossible to get to the UFS bolt if you're skating 90mm wheels. Just won't work. 167mm and then 90, that's 180. It's going to cover up the bolt. But if you've got the right configuration, you can make it so that you can skate these and still access the UFS bolts. Now these are a 72mm frame, but I'm skating with 76s. So these are the 76mm RTP wheels. They are 85A, and because the standard sole plates have a little recess on the inside, you can see the wheel sticks up a little bit, 2mm above. A lot of sole plates are doing that now. Actually, the Factions do that as well. There's a few, but I have the Factions boot only right now. So these are the Factions, and you can see the bottom of the Factions. There are these little recesses for the middle wheels. And that means that even though these wheels extend taller than the frame, you could put the frame on. It's harder to do with one hand than I thought it would be. You could put the frame on, and the middle wheels still spin. And that's because they have a recess on the inside, a few millimeters on the inside. That's all that it needs. So you're able to skate wheels that are bigger than the frame should normally allow. For me, skating a 72 millimeter frame with a 76 millimeter wheel, great feeling. It is a balance between 80 millimeters, where you get that cruise, but you still get the speed of a 72. The ride height is very similar to a 72. A little bit taller, not by much, and it is a really, really great ride. If you're interested in standard, a little bit of housekeeping, we do have new frames. So if you like the white standard or Compass, too many brands. If you're interested in Compass, we do have the white frames available now. We have the black frames available now. Those were the ones that we came out with initially, the black frames in 72 millimeter and 80 millimeter. We also just released a yellow frame. Whew. These things are crazy. So these are the 80 millimeter Compass frames. They are the yellow UFS frames. They are, again, just like the 72 millimeter. They are 260 millimeter from wheel 1 to wheel 4. They are fully UFS, so you can put them on any UFS boot, and it will work as expected. Don't have to take off the middle wheels in order to put them on. You can access the frame bolts in. We have these in 72 millimeter and 80 millimeter. It's the same material that we've been making for the Compass frames before. Slides great if you want to do a macchio here and there. The axles are actually fairly recessed, so you're able to grind without grinding on axles. And they're fairly inexpensive. I think they're $65 in stores, $60 for the 72s. If you already are an aggressive skater, you have a pair of UFS boots that you really like, you've got liners that you've broken in, and you don't want to buy a dedicated free skate for it, all you have to do is get yourself this Compass frame, and you're able to go out there, swap it in, and then go skate around your neighborhood, skate around your city. Really great setup. I'm really, really pleased with it. More to come from Compass in the future, actually the next few weeks. It's going to be a lot of busy times with Compass. But the yellow frames are here. If you're looking for them, they should be at shops soon, or you can get them from Balance Distribution, balancedisc.com. One more thing that we got that just came in, it is the month of yellow. So not only is Compass doing a yellow frame, but 50/50 is doing a yellow frame. Absolutely love yellow. I think it's the best looking color on black skates, gray skates, even looks great on white skates. But we were thrilled to work with Chad Tannehill, who's a good friend out in Bakersfield. He's been on the team since the beginning of our comeback. So back in 2017, 2018, when I first started talking about them, I met Chad through Mick over at Intuition. And I said, who is somebody who you think would represent the brand well? And Mick knows me pretty well and said, you know what, Chad would destroy it for you. He's been the guy that I've been able to send all of our products to, even wheels, before he was writing for Red Eye. All of our products to, and said, hey, can you test these out? He's a big dude, stocky dude, skates really hard, just destroys everything. Can you test these out and make sure that they hold up? And he's always down to try new products, loves testing, gives great feedback, and we were thrilled to give him a frame. This is our year of helping out our ambassadors who have done a ton for the sport, done a ton for the brand. We want to give them a frame with their name on it. So we started with Scotty Crawford, and now we're doing Chad Tannehill. So this is Chad's frame. It is a yellow prime frame. It has black axles and it has a black core. We haven't done a black core before, so these are the new black cores. If you're not familiar with the prime frames, this is a two-part system. So the core is an anodized aluminum. Actually, yeah, these are anodized. Anodized aluminum. It is extruded, so it's a really strong material versus bending and folding something. It's an extruded aluminum frame with a glass-filled nylon frame wall. These walls are replaceable, so if you remove the first and the last axles, you're able to take the wall off. You keep this core on the boot, you take the wall off, you can put another wall right on. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. This is what the cores look like underneath. So this wall fits on top of the cores using the first and the last axles. The frame has a really nice deep groove. It's really great for anti-rocker. It was kind of designed for anti-rocker. You can skate them flat. I really like them skating flat with 60 or 56 millimeter wheels. That is my preferred setup when skating them flat. But they are really designed for anti-rocker, and they excel at anti-rocker. Nice deep groove, good chamfer, locks on solid. It's a 120 millimeter split between 2 and 3, which is one of the widest in the industry. It's a really nice groove, but it's not too deep. The H-block is far enough away from that wheel recess, so you can still skate them flat and get a little bit of wheel bite protection from skating flat with this setup. It fits a maximum of 60 millimeter wheels flat, or if you want to skate anti-rocker, you could skate 65s without any issues with the sole plate. If you wanted to really push it, you could skate 72s. You would need something like the, using a lot of Factions tonight, you would need something like the Factions that has the whole front area of the toe cleared out, but you can imagine if this frame were on this boot. Oh, I cannot see there. Oh, if this, I can't line it up. I can't see with my eyes. There we go. Get on there. You could see that the front, I cannot see. There we go. You can see that the front, if that wheel were bigger, it could extend up through the sole plate, and we can fit up to a 72 millimeter wheel up there. If you wanted to do some jet set radio, go grind around Japan on some telephone poles or anything like that, really great setup for that. Don't do that though, not a good idea. Anyway, these frames are available now. They are shipping to shops this week. If you are interested, you can get them from our shop, or you can go to your favorite shop, ask them to bring them in. We would love nothing more than to send them some new frames. We do have a bundle available with Red Eye wheels. So these are the John Fromm wheels on the outside and the Chad Tannehill anti-rockers on the inside. They will come with a special box, special pre-installed box, so that all you would need to do is pop the frame bolts onto your boot so that you can get up and running. Also includes matching laces, which is always a nice thing that I love to do. Really, really happy with the way that these came out. I love doing colors. I think colored frames, you know, it's something that we don't see very often. Usually frames are black or white, sometimes gray, sometimes a real like mild color. Love bringing out the bright colors. Not for everyone, but some people love it, and I'm one of them. It has been a busy, busy month here at Balance. So thanks everybody for all of the support. Absolutely couldn't do it without all of your support and your questions and your feedback and everything. We really love the people who support us, keep us in business so that we can do the fun stuff like that. All right, let me get some water. Before we get too busy, I had a quick topic. I didn't want to interrupt the flow, and this is something that people don't necessarily ask about on the live stream, but I would like to talk a little bit about. In full disclosure, I do own 50/50, I own Chroma, I own Compass, and I work with the guys at Mushroom Blading to make their wheels. So anything that I say only reflects those 4 brands, and obviously there's a bias there from our quality and from my involvement with the brands. I've been seeing a lot of questions from people on Facebook or otherwise asking about what expectations I should have around wheels. So a couple weeks ago, I saw a post where somebody, maybe in Arizona, was skating some of our wheels, and 3 or 4 sessions in, they were pretty toasted. They were worn down really quickly, and they were asking, is this normal? So I wanted to talk a little bit about what my expectations are as a wheel company, what my expectations are for a wheel, what I consider a defect, and what I consider just normal wear and tear. I think this will be helpful for some people out there who might not know what to expect. And again, these are my policies and they reflect anything through Balance. If you are buying some of our wheels, this is what you should know. If you're buying from another brand, I can't say what their return policy is, what their warranty is. I would assume that they are fairly similar, but please don't take my word for it because I do not represent any other brand. So I just want to make that clear. This is just the way that I see things, and this is the way that I support our customers. So we make a few different hardnesses, and the hardness of a wheel is the actual hardness of a urethane. So if you look at a normal wheel, this is our 60 millimeter 90A wheel for Fitty Fitty. The hardness, how hard it is. We also have an 88 millimeter wheel, or 88A wheel. The hardness of this will be softer. The 88 is a lower number. The hardness of this 90 is harder. The 90 is a higher number. So the higher number means the harder the wheel. And they use a tool called a durometer. I don't have one near me, but a durometer, which has a little needle, and you push the needle in, not like a puncturing needle, but like an extended needle, a little piece of this tool. You push in and it measures the resistance, how hard it was for them to push it in. And they give you a number. That number is on a scale of 0 to 100. So 90 is pretty hard. 88, a little bit softer, not that much softer. If you look at a shock absorber in your skates, usually they're around 40 to 45A. So that's how dense, how squishy a material would be. Now the basic rule of thumb is the harder the wheel, the longer they're going to last, the slower they're going to wear down. The softer the wheel, the more bounce you're going to get, but the faster they're going to wear. If you're looking at grinds, things like that, I don't really buy into the harder wheel is going to stick less. Granted, obviously it will stick less. A harder wheel like a 95A is going to stick less if you're doing grinds. But I don't think that hardness is all that matters with that. I think a lot of the wheel profile has something to do with whether you're going to get wheel bite or not. Typically, we recommend people skate 90A. If you don't know what you're doing, you should skate 90A. Now, 90A is going to provide the most balanced wear. So it's going to last as long as it's going to last, and it's going to perform fairly well. It's like the average number. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more performant, a little bit faster, a little bit more easy on the knees, you'll go down to an 88A. It will wear faster, but it will feel better when you're skating it. If you want something that's going to last a little bit longer, you can go up to a 92A. 92A will last a little bit longer. It'll be harder on your knees. You'll feel every little crack, every little bounce when you're skating, but it'll last longer and it will give you a little bit less wheel bite if you're doing grinds. We don't make any 95As. I think that's fine if you do. We do make 85A mostly for our big wheels. Big wheels are less about the quick stops and starts and more about the bigger skating. 85A is really good for that sort of thing, especially if you're skating longer distances. If you're doing wizardy skating stuff, if you're doing a lot of stops and starts, I would probably recommend going up to an 88A if you're doing big wheels. So with that being said, what should you expect? How long should a wheel last? It all depends on a lot of criteria. The first being, what sort of thing are you skating? You know, if you're skating on a polished floor, like a roller hockey rink, those wheels are going to last forever. You're probably never going to need to replace the wheels. If you're skating on buckled streets in the UK, rough terrain at a city or at a skate or a school or something like that, dirty asphalt like we were skating at Woodward, your wheels are going to get toasted quickly. And it really just depends on how smooth the pavement is and how quickly these little nicks in the pavement can wear away your wheels. Normal wear and tear shouldn't be a reason for a return. So if you're skating a situation, like if you're skating a really bad hill, if you're being pulled by a car, if you're skitching on a car, riding 88.8 wheels in the middle of summer and the floor is super hot, your wheels are going to wear fast. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter how good the wheels are, your wheels are going to wear fast. That's not something that we would typically warranty. If it's out of the ordinary, if you're skating fast and they wear super fast. Obviously, if you have a problem with your wheels, if you're not happy with the wheels, reach out to us. You can find a contact form on balancedisc.com and let us know. Give us your sob story and we'll probably sort you out. We're not stingy when it comes to that. We want you to have a good experience. But if you're skating hard in a hard terrain, in the heat, and maybe you're a bigger dude, you're probably going to wear down your wheels pretty fast. If that is the situation, don't get an 88A wheel. Get something like a 90 or a 92. That will give you a little bit more time on those wheels before they wear down. 88A, you're going to toast 88A pretty quickly. I only skate 88A when I know that I'm skating a really good skate park with a really smooth ground, or if I'm skating a wooden skate park. Anything else, if I'm skating anti-rocker or if I'm skating a rougher terrain, I always go 90A. I don't go 92, it's harder on my knees, but I'll go 90A if I'm skating anti-rocker, 88A if I'm skating flat. That's kind of my balance between the two. So normal wear and tear, I usually assume you're just skating hard, you're going to wear down your wheels. Flat spots is a weird one. So flat spots, I don't have a flat spotted wheel here, but sometimes you'll see that a wheel has this like a cut out of it. And it's only in one area. So there's a difference between a flat spot and coning. This is what people call coning. So this is an old 85A aggressive wheel. This is a 50-50 85A wheel. And this was after one session. And this is why we don't make 85A wheels in aggressive sizes anymore, because it goes through some pain. You can see I am spinning the wheel and it is very coned. This is one session. You can just see this was the inside edge, probably my right rear wheel, because when I turn, I'll kick that heel out a little bit more, and I wear this a little bit more. This is normal wear and tear. This is definitely not something that we would warranty. It sucks, but you made the decision to skate these soft wheels in a situation that probably shouldn't have had these soft wheels. This is your fault. I'm going to be completely blunt about it. This is your fault. This is my fault that it wore faster. But this is a cone. This is not something that, you just wear your wheels too fast. If you had this, but it was only in one little area, that would be called a flat spot. So if the rest of the wheel was perfectly round, and then one little area up here was like this, completely flat, that is a flat spot. Typically a flat spot happens when you come off a grind or when you're trying to skate and stop quickly and you put your foot out. Like if you put your foot out, you're skating and you go like that, and for whatever reason you put too much pressure on one of your wheels. Maybe you do like a slide, but your wheel isn't a bullety profile, it's more of a square profile. You do a slide and you push down really hard on one of the wheels. That wheel, if it doesn't keep spinning, it will get just one little area, and that's the only area that will wear. And that will create a flat spot. I see flat spots from time to time. It is unfortunate. It is also, I would say, probably your fault. It's a result of you grinding a ledge and getting too much on the ledge, or coming off of a grind and putting your foot down too quickly, or coming off of a hill and T-stopping and dragging your foot behind you. There are ways to avoid flat spots. Sometimes flat spots just happen. That's something that you're just going to have to deal with. That is not the fault of the wheel. That is the fault of the way that you were skating. Of course, if you email me and you get a flat spot on your fresh wheels, I will definitely help you out. If you find that you're flat spotting yourself a lot, get harder wheels. It's harder to flat spot a harder wheel. It's also harder to flat spot a rounder wheel. The more square of a wheel, the more of that angle is sticking out, and that's the spot that's going to flat spot first. So definitely recommend getting harder wheels. trying to learn different ways to slow down. And again, if there's a sob story, I'm usually a sucker to help people get back up and rolling. But that usually isn't something that we would warranty. It's usually on the skater doing something that they shouldn't have. Now, there's a few things that we will warranty. The first is a chunk. If you ever chunk one of your wheels within reason, then we will definitely warranty those. A chunk is when you're not getting normal wear. Do I have a good, see, I don't have a really chunked wheel. This is an 88A. This is just normal wear, but it's on a really bad surface. This was probably one of my Woodward wheels. Our wheels don't really chunk. If they chunk, we will guarantee that we will replace them for you if you get a chunk out of your wheel. And usually that's when there's just, I don't know. I don't even know what causes a chunk. We don't get chunks. But when you get a chunk, you'll see a lot of like cheaper OEM wheels. You're just skating and sometimes just bits of the wheel starts falling off. That's not okay. You should get a warranty for that. And if that ever happens with any of our wheels, again, this is speaking for any of the brands, we would love to help you out. That is not normal. One exception, and I've seen this a couple of times, even though I did replace them, I've seen this a couple of times, where people are grinding angle iron and they'll hit a screw. And maybe that wheel they're skating anti-rocker, maybe that wheel hits a screw and you see a slice. And when you get a slice in your wheel, that's probably the equipment. That's probably not us. Chunks are pretty ununiform. If you get a straight line cut in your wheel, that's definitely a problem. And that is, you grinded something that you shouldn't have. You came off something wrong and you sliced your wheel. Now, of course, as I said before, I'll probably help you out, but that's not something that we would typically warranty. Finally, when cores break, we will always, always, always help you out. How do you tell if a core is broken? So this is a Yandi wheel, 90A, I think this one is. Usually, bearings should stick in the wheels. This is the way all of our wheels come. If you have a wheel and the bearing just falls right out, so I got the bearing, falls right out, that is a cord wheel. That is what we'll call a cord wheel. That's what happens when, for whatever reason, this core has expanded. Maybe it's broken a little bit on the inside. Has nothing to do with the urethane. You can see the urethane is clean. It looks great. It's still grind. It still has plenty of life left, but the core is just broke. If the core breaks and if it will no longer accept a bearing, that means you can hear it. You can hear it moving around in there. That means that the core itself broke. Not much you can do about that. We will guarantee that those wheels will be replaced. Just reach out, let me know, and I will help you out. I think those are all the situations that I've come across with wheels. I hope that this was educational for people. It's something that I wish more people knew. There's a difference between bad wheels and you skating bad on the wheels. You should know which wheels to use in which situations. So if the company recommends that you skate 90A on the street, 92A on the street, 88A in the skate park, that's what they rate them for. For us, you can skate whatever wheels you want. Just know that if you're skating 88A or something softer and it's a rough terrain, you're going to wear through them faster. If you're heavier, you're going to wear through them faster. If it's a hot day like summer, you're going to wear through them faster. Nothing wrong with the wheels. It's just the way that wheels work. Want to make sure that you have a good experience when you're out there. Of course, if you have any questions about your wheels or if you've had any issues with your wheels, please reach out. You can find all of our contact information on the website. And yeah, we stand behind our products. More education is better. And we think that we make great wheels. So we can just help people understand which wheels to get. I think you're going to have a really great experience when you're out there skating. Hope this was helpful. I'm going to get some drink and then I will go through and read some of the comments. If you have any questions, please tag Back to Blading. I would love to answer your questions. Just tag Back to Blading so I can see them. It'll show up in orange and I will go through them and answer all the questions that I can. Moving these wheels. All right, let's scroll all the way up. Excellent. Good turnout today. Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. True Skeet, hey Law, hey, I hope you're doing well. Saw that you won a iRoller Boot competition or something and you were skating the compound. I hope you had a good time. Your new setup looks nice. Hope to get up there again soon. Wyco Booter, will there be updated standard size charts to account for the shock absorbers? That is a great question. No, there won't be updated size charts because the shock absorbers are kind of built into the size charts as is. So if you look at a normal boot, so this is a 909. So if you look at a boot, this is a raised heel boot, so this area is higher in the back than in the front. The inside is not a complete straight line. So it's not a straight line from the heel. At least I hope it isn't. No, it doesn't look like it is. Not a straight line from the heel to the toe. It goes like this. Like that. So the heel is a little bit taller, flat, and then it curves down, and then it goes all the way up to the toe. When we measure, am I getting delay? I'm looking at delay on the live stream. Weird. When we measured our printable charts, we measured 10 millimeters above the bottom of the boot, and then a straight line. So you will have a few millimeters more. Yeah, it does look like it's stalling. I wonder what's going on. Weird, weird, weird. You will get a little bit more millimeters than the printable charts show, but the printable charts are the straight line from the back to the front, 10 millimeters above the base of the skate. I don't think there's an easy way to show the 3 dimensions of it with a 10 millimeter heel raise. It's a really tricky problem to have to solve. But I think what we've got is at least a good approximation of how your foot's going to fit into our shell. And then you can always add a couple millimeters just for the dip. I don't know how much. I don't have a degree in geometry, but I don't know how much, but that would probably add a couple millimeters or here or there. It's a good question. Killbot350, I struggle with Royales. I own USD Carbons using medium wish frames and adapts with the symmetric frames and flat 58s. I think there is a skate frame combo best for Royales. I do. I think both of those will be difficult to do Royales in. I have nothing wrong with USD Carbons. Adapts, again, great skates. You should see if I have a video up from a few years back when I was skating adapts with wish frames. They were not the mediums, they were the old wish frames, the original wish frames. And God, I'm buffering a lot tonight. I wonder what's going on. My internet is not cooperating with me, and I don't know why. Let's see if that helps. Quit all the things. Sorry, everyone. It looks like my online backup was spawning for some reason, and I don't know why it wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be paused until tomorrow, but anyway, maybe it's better now. Adapts and wish frames. So I was skating the OG wish frames and adapts, and I was really struggling to get boot down on Royales. And the reason is those are fairly tall frames. The mediums are a little bit shorter, but those were very tall frames. So trying to get boot down on a Royale doing a stiff boot like an adapt and then a taller frame like a wish was a really difficult combination. Not as much of a problem for me on the carbons. What I would probably recommend is if you are learning Royales, get yourself some frames that are a little bit more designed for anti-rocker. I used to really like the Fluid 4s. They are, the Kaiser Fluid 4s, really nice deep groove, wide groove. If you're skating anti-rocker and you're trying to learn Royales, it's a good way to do it, especially if you're skating those adapts that don't have a super flexible cuff. Get your knees down, get your body down, get your weight down, and then you don't have to get as deep in order to get that second position. The most important thing when you're doing Royales is getting both of those feet. I'll just do it with these big heavy tanks. Do it with both of the bits of the skate. So you want to get the backslide groove and you want to get the frame groove. Do I have my pole here? I don't. I think I brought it out front. Oh. Anywho. Oh, I have a block. I have this block. Ugh. My 2x4. So when you're doing royales, you want to get both the backslide plate and the frame on the object. And that will give you 2 points of contact. That'll give you a much more balanced ride, more balanced grind, and a lot more stability. Of course, the taller the frame, the more you're going to have to get low in order to get boot down. If you're trying to do a royale with an 80mm Aeon, it's possible, but you're going to have to get really low. It's a really difficult trick. Getting yourself a freestyle frame or a deep anti-rocker frame is the trick. So you're able to get nice and low, but you don't have to get too low, especially with those skates that you're skating. You'll build up those muscles, do all the royales, and then you can transition to your wish frames or transition to your symmetric frames. I think the symmetrics have a pretty tall grind area as well. So both of those, they're really great for skating flat. They're not super great for making royales easy. You really got to lock in solid. You really got to get low in order to squash properly. I wish you luck. I think that's a amazing trick when you nail it, but it's definitely a difficult trick in those frames, I should say. Stubbs, any ETA on pre-orders for Standard? Can't wait to try them. Yes, we are hoping to have pre-orders the week after we do the announcement video, and with any luck, we'll have those next week. So pre-orders end of the month, end of September. That should be the goal. Working with shops, so if you are not in the U.S. and you want to order from a local shop, we will have a list of shops that we're working with for our launch. There will be probably a dozen shops that we'll be working with. It's important to us that we have local shops. Local shops are what keep our community thriving. Not everybody knows where to find product. Not everybody knows who all the pros are and where to go for tips on grinds and tricks and stuff. If you have a local shop, you should definitely support it. So we'll be working with local shops, a couple of them in the U.S. and a bunch of them outside of the U.S. so that we can get skates to everybody around the world. And yeah, more information to follow. It's going to come hot and heavy the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned. I'm gearing up. I'm going to take the weekend off, rest my voice, work a little bit on the website, and then we're going to go full steam into October. It's going to be a busy month. True Skeet, stoked to see Chad's signature prime frame. Love the colorway. Yes, they are so pretty. I cannot wait to skate them. I hope to skate them soon. I'm saving a set for myself so that I can skate them, and then I save a set for the archive, so it'll be nice. Love the yellow though. Vincent BSO, will Standard have frame deck well that is sunken in few millimeters like the Razors? I don't know what you mean by sunken in. If you're talking about an SL where the frame mounts below the sole plate is lower, yes and no. It's not going to be super low. It's more similar to a USD 7 or the USD or the Gods Team Skate. Do I have that here? I have it here. Here it is. Oh, I can't get it on. There we go. One of these days, one of these skates is going to fall and hit me in the head. You will all laugh, and I will be sad. It's more similar to this skate, where it is a flat boot on the bottom, and then the sole plate mounts to the boot. It's a thin sole plate, so it doesn't extend into the boot. It is a sole plate that sits on top of the boot. I hope that answers your question. I will get to all the information as soon as I can. Promise. I'm not going to try to put it back. I'm just going to drop something on my head again. All the information is coming soon, I promise. And we'll have a nice gear talk. We can sit back and talk, and any question that you might have, I will be an open book. I have my calipers out. I'll have my scale out so that we can measure things and weigh things. It will be very geeky. I hope you're ready for that. Lander, can I put 84mm in the 80mm compass frames? Not really. So these are 80mm. You can see how close it is to the H block. I think that we designed it 84 millimeter is like the max, and they might rub. They will still extend above, so there's plenty of room for them to extend above if you wanted to, but it's the width that's the problem. It is a 260 millimeter frame, so 80, 80, 80 is 180. No, yeah, no, I can't math. 240. 3 by 80 is 240. Thank you. So if you went up to 84, what's that? Another 256? Is that right? That sounds right. 252. So we're really close to the 260. And you need a little bit of gap between them to make sure that the wheels will spin. You can't have them perfectly lined up. So no, I wouldn't recommend skating with 84s. I think 80 is as big as you'll go with the 80s. But I will say that you could fit 80s in a 72 if you had the right sole plates. So if you had sole plates like the Mesmers that have a really deep cutout in the bottom. Do I have my Mesmers here? I don't know if I have. I do. So you can see how deep the cutout is in the Mesmer. If you had something like that, you could put 80s on this 72. These are 76s. You could fit 80s on here. Pop it all the way up. That is a really, really low ride height for an 80 millimeter frame. Highly recommend that if you haven't tried it yet. All these products everywhere. It's a parts week. Oh, get over there. All right, there we go. Great question. Chris Pauly, new yellow, brighter than the old Balance 1 yellow. It is brighter, but it is not... It's creamier in hand, brighter in... It's... I'm not going to say it. It's brighter outside, and it's creamier in your hands. If you look at the yellow, it's definitely a different yellow than the old one. The old yellow was more like a canary yellow, like a light yellow. This is it's a solid yellow. I absolutely love this yellow. It is a bright yellow when you see it outside. It was so bright that I brought these outside and my eyes started hurting because the sun was glaring. It was that bright. So it's a very bright yellow. I'm sure, I mean, you can see it you can see it pretty clearly. It's a very bright yellow. Slightly different. Pablo Skates, do you think there's a market for a low-cost plastic 5-wheel Wizard frame? I think there's a market for anything. I don't know how big that market is. 5-wheel frames are very curious to me. I'm not a Wizardies skater. I wish I had more time to invest in it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy skating. And that is, to me, like the purest form of skating. Expressing yourself with wheels on your feet, basically. But I know that with wizard skating, trying to do any of those moves, you're really needing enough control of your edges that you can twist and turn however you want. And I don't know that a plastic frame will give you that ability. I haven't tried it. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't know that a plastic frame will give you that ability. I would love to try it in the future. If you're planning on making a 5-wheel plastic frame, let me know. I'd love to see it. It is something that I haven't really considered. I think there's a lot of really good metal frames out there for 5-wheel, but you never know. I mean, the market might be, especially if you can get the cost down, it might be interested. And some of the materials that they use nowadays, pretty good, so they might be strong enough. All right, it's already 10 o'clock. I need to fly through some of these. Eric Lopez, when will the Black Core be available for purchase? We do have some news about that soon, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. Super Yosef, are we getting an official flat prime frame? Prime wall. We've been talking about doing a new wall for the prime frame. The prime frame came out 2 years ago. Last year we did the Balance 2, which I don't have here. This year our frame was the standard frame, so it's been difficult for us to one frame a year. So we did the prime frame, we did the balance frame, standard frame, which we haven't shared yet, and then next year hoping to do. We have a few ideas in mind. So it depends on how well the standard stuff sells, but I have a few ideas in mind that I'd like to do for frames. And definitely a flat frame for the core system is something that I would love to do. Wiki, yellow is an amazing color on black boots. I've had 50/50 prime frame John Frum that I got in white just to dye them sunflower yellow, and just love looking at my setup. Nice choice, thanks. Yeah, I love the yellow on the black. Again, it is my favorite color. Even just on this Majestic 12, I just love that look. Get on there. It's hard to see in the dark. There we go. It's just such a good color. And I think with the little black cores, it really pops. Ooh. All right. Brandon Mixo, was the Farmer Prime package come with matching laces? Because mine didn't come with laces. Just curious. Yes. So Farmer's Prime bundle that came with the red eye wheels came with matching laces. If you did not get matching laces, let me know. Respond to the email that you got with your invoice. We only sold those direct, so you should have gotten them from me. If you didn't get your laces, let me know. I do have the laces still in stock. I've got like not many left. They're the black and orange laces. So we usually bring in 100 laces at a time. And I think we're down to like 12 or something like that. But I've got a few. So if you want them, send me your invoice. Let me know. And I'll get back to you. All right, Sean Michelson, I know the current marketing for standard has been pretty neutral tones. Were we seeing some crazy colors at some point with standard? I mean, never say never. We're definitely more of an earth tones brand. I think crazy colors can be fun, but can be a little limiting. And standard is for everyone. We're trying to make a skate company that everybody will feel comfortable skating. And for me, going with neutral tones, earth tones, is a really good way because everybody can kind of pull that off. If you've got yellow compass frames, it's great, but it's a pretty big look. Not everybody can pull that off. So we will see, though. I never say never. All right, Pablos, there's been a big shift to manufacture things in Mexico because apparently transport times are insanely short and labor costs low. You ever see yourself doing production there? I don't know. I haven't even looked into it. Doesn't seem like a problem. We sell to shops in Mexico and have good relationships down there. So, yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't. So long as the quality is there and so long as the pricing is good, doesn't really matter to me where they're purchased. We have most of our production in China, not all of it, but a lot of it, and that would be expensive to move stuff over. But yeah, I would never say no if there's a good reason to do it. Sure, why not? Pine Top, $2 super chat. Thank you, Pine Top, for watching. I hope you have a good evening. The money that we make for Super Chats goes to the Blading Helmet Initiative Fund. So anything that's thrown our way always goes to the Helmet Initiative. So again, thank you so much for the support. All right, I think we're at a good point. Let's get started on the core system. So I was shocked that we actually launched the core system back in 2021. It's a long time ago. When I came back into rollerblading and I started dreaming up products, the one thing that I wanted to do was the new core system. This is the core system. This is the Tad Tannehill. This is our current latest frame. It is a 3-part system. So you've got the core on the inside. It's an aluminum core. You got the plastic walls on the outside. These are glass-filled nylon walls. And then the wheels and the axles kind of cinch everything together and keep them nice and snug. The frame spacers slide into both, and they can lock everything in so that you can skate as like a single solid frame. We designed this back in 2003. It was initially designed for a stronger freestyle frame. So freestyle frames were new on the market and people were snapping them left and right. And we said, well, we could make it stronger by putting some aluminum on the inside. And as an added bonus, we could reuse that aluminum to make a anti-rocker in a flat frame that would be even stronger. So we came out with a freestyle frame. We came out with a balanced frame, which was a 4-wheel frame using the same core system. And now that Fitty Fitty is back, I started making the new cores. This is the core system 2. So it's a ground up redesign of the initial concept using a similar design, but this time we've done things a little bit stronger. So this is an extruded aluminum core, really hard to bend. You can see at the top it is a full extrusion. So just like Play-Doh when you were as a kid and you had Play-Doh in the press and you'd press it down and it would squirt out, kind of like making pasta. That's how they make this. So it's a extrusion that they use, an extrusion mold, and they squish the aluminum through. It comes out and then they machine it so that it makes the setup for the frame. We started selling these in 2 lengths, 250 millimeters and 270 millimeters. That's the length from the first wheel to the 4th wheel. Last year we came out with a 290 millimeters. So something for our big-footed friends, if they want something a little bit longer, it is 290 millimeters. So it's a little bit longer. Kind of designed for a size 12 and up. These large, I think these are large. These look like medium. These medium are designed for a size 6 to 9, and then 10 to 12 is kind of the large size, and then anything bigger than that, you're going to want the 290s. And they've been a huge success. I'm so happy to see people out there skating prime frames. This is our 4th Pro model prime frame, and we've done white and black from the beginning. So it's been a really great project. Very, very happy with the response. And personally, I love skating my prime frames. The responsiveness that you get with the aluminum core is second to none if you're skating fast, if you're skating bowls. It is a really nice, solid ride, but mix that with the plastic nylon molded prime frame, the walls that you sit on top, and it's a really great frame for grinds and for anti-rocker and for rails and things like that. Along with the launch of the prime frames, back when we announced the core system 2, we also announced that we were going to open source this design. So the design for the core is open source. So you can go to Core Frame Market, now fittyfittyframes.com, and get all of the information that you need in order to learn how to make your own walls for the core system. So this is an aluminum core. It has a lifetime guarantee. It's not going to break. It's not going to bend. If it ever does, and we've had a couple of them that did, sold thousands of these things, and we've had a couple that have bent. No questions asked. We send you a replacement core so that you can get up and running. These things are guaranteed for life. You will have them forever. But you can always swap the walls. So the walls just, I don't have a wall. Why don't I have a wall by myself? So if you look at this frame, you've got the black core, just like the silver core. You pop this wall off. It looks like this, and then you can put a wall back on. We make them as a molded glass-filled nylon, but you can use a 3D printer and print your own walls so that you can go out there and use this core with whatever wall design you want. And we've open sourced this design. So anybody out there can download our source code. You get access to all of the models that we used for figuring out wheel distances. All of our wheel models are axles, the axles that would come with the core system. All of those are objects that you can use with your design and figure out what you want your frames to look like. And using free applications like Fusion 360 or any CAD program that you can export to a 3D printer, you can design your walls. You can export them to your printer as an STL or something, and then you can print them, and a day later you can have a wall that you can actually skate, put on your skates, and then go out there and skate. It is pretty incredible that we've come this far with technology. This was the dream back when we first did the core system, that eventually there would be other people making walls for this system. It was a little early for that, but now we are able to do it. It's cost effective. 3D printers are a few $100. Spool of PLA Plus is $20-25. You can get 4 frame walls out of it, so you're spending about $12 for a pair of frames, assuming nothing goes wrong. And then all it takes is your time, a little bit of electricity, and of course your skill in developing whatever design you want. So we did something interesting with this. Not only did we open source the design so that people could make their own walls at home and sell them, we made it free to use. So anybody out there can make whatever walls they want and sell whatever walls they want, print them for their friends, print them and sell them, whatever they like to do. We also started taking submissions from designers who had walls that they wanted to sell, but maybe they didn't want to print them themselves. And we have been hosting them on our site called the Core Frame Market. And that is a place that people can go to find all of the different designers that we've supported and that we've gone through and vetted, and we can guarantee that these walls will fit, these walls won't break in an hour, and we will print them ourselves and send them out to you, and we'll make sure that they are at the highest quality so that you can go out there and skate them. They're not great for skating on rough terrain. They will work, but they're not really designed for skating gnarly ledges. What they're really designed for is skate parks, angle iron, maybe rails, things like that. You can definitely skate street if you wanted, but don't be surprised if you're skating a gnarly, crunchy ledge and you get a few chips out of the thing, or if it wears faster than you're expecting. It is designed mostly for lower impact skating, things that you would use softer wheels, 88A wheels, things like that. That's what you really want to use these printed frames for. So we were very fortunate to work with about a dozen designers and came out with a bunch of really cool designs for the Core Frame Market. One that I always look at that makes me laugh. This is a freestyle design. So I mentioned that the initial launch of the core system was designed around making a stronger freestyle. This is called the Flebo, and this is a faux rocker. It's called the faux rocker. So it is a freestyle that fits 65 millimeter wheels, I think, on the outside, but it has a big deep groove, and then it has fake anti-rocker wheels that lock really nicely on your ledge. It's a really, really great design. Then, going the opposite direction, you've got Justin Thursday's wall. So this is the T60R. This is a flat frame. It is designed for flat 60 millimeter wheels, but it has a 1 millimeter rocker. That's what the R stands for, 1 millimeter rocker. And funny enough, Justin has now been able to make this frame because it's been such a success on the core market, and he has had such success selling his frames directly, printing his frames and selling them directly, that Icon, the brand Icon, has worked with Justin to make this frame with a few modifications as an actual injection molded part. So the beginning of the T60R on the Core Frame Market, and now the maturity going to its own part. It is lower ride height, so this is a 65 millimeter max wheel, 60 millimeter on the wall, 65 millimeter on the core itself. The ride height for the actual frames, for the Icon frames, is 60 millimeters, which means that you're going to lose a few millimeters of ride height. It has an adjustable rocker system, so the axles are not using our core axles. It's using these square axles that are rockerable, so you're able to move the middle wheels up or down if you wanted that 1 millimeter rocker or not. And it's using a much stronger material than we're able to use with our 3D printers. It's not going to be the same strength because it doesn't have the aluminum core, but it's going to be so much lighter. They were able to remove a ton of material from inside this frame for the mold, and I haven't gotten a pair yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing them in person. It's great to see because this is one of the most popular frames on the market that people can buy, and we print them and then we can set them up on your frame. It's great to see an actual molded version, so you don't have to buy a full core system setup if you wanted to experience this wall. So super thrilled to see that Justin's able to actually do a moldable frame from the design that he he was able to work on and tweak and test and get feedback from the core frame market. That was the whole dream of the market, to be able to help people learn how to make frames, help people learn how to do product design, get feedback from people, and then maybe start small businesses. And it's not going to be enough to send your kids to college, but it's definitely enough to pay for your cell phone bill every now and then. If you're a smart guy or a smart girl and you want to come up with a frame design, all of the information's up there. You can go and download it yourself. So a couple announcements with the core frame market. First of all, Balance Distribution has moved. We used to be hosted on Squarespace. We've moved over to Shopify. Everybody's on Shopify, and there's a good reason for that. Squarespace was a great site. We still use Squarespace for all of our websites. So fittyfittyframes.com is still on Squarespace. But for e-commerce, Squarespace was great for when we were just getting started, but now it's kind of showing its issues. The biggest is inventory management. We always wanted to be able to make ready-to-roll setups. So grab yourself a set of frames. So you wanted to get a compass frame, for example, and you wanted to pick what color frame you wanted, and then pick the wheels, wanted to get 80 millimeters or 76 millimeters or something like that, and configure it all through one easy to understand web view, and then click a button, add that all to your cart, check out, and then we would get an updated list with everything that you wanted. Our inventory would be reduced by the amount of parts that you got. That was extremely difficult to do with Squarespace, if not impossible. We ran up against some limits with the Squarespace interface. So we migrated everything over to Shopify, and we couldn't be happier there. If you haven't been to the balancedist.com website, definitely take a look. You don't have to buy anything, but take a look. You go to the prime frames, and you can see a way to build your own ready-to-roll setup for prime frames or balance 2s. It is really, really cool. You can pick from your frame, and then once you pick your frame and your length, then you can pick your wheels, your outside wheels, you can pick your inside wheels, you click to get your free bearings, and then you check out and you're good to go. Love how quick and easy it is for us to give you a way to customize your setup so you can get whatever frame setup you want with whatever wheels you want, and really we'll set it up for you. We'll have them ready to roll. So when they show up on your doorstep, you'll be ready to just swap out your new frames and go out there and skate. Of course, we wanted to move the core frame market over to this new system. It just made sense. We don't keep inventory of the walls. Everything here is print on demand. So all of the frames that we have are stored as files, and when an order comes in, we can pre-install the filament on the printers, and we click print, and the next day we have the frames ready. And it's amazing now that we're able to offer complete frame kits instead of just walls, complete frame kits for whatever wall you want. Any of the 3D printed walls designed by skaters like you are now available to customize for whatever wall you want as a frame kit, so that you can just put on whatever wheels you want and you go out there and skate. We're taking it a step further. So with prime frames, we're really, really happy that we've been able to release 3 different colored cores now. 4 different colored cores, actually. We're sold out of the golds. But we've got the silver core. This is the standard common core that comes with most of the frames. But we also have an orange core. This one came with the Chris Farmer. We have a few dozen of these cores left in stock in 250 and 270 millimeter lengths. And then the new black cores. These are the ones that just landed with Chad Tannehill's frame. This is the black core. These cores are all completely the same. They are all completely compatible, as you can see. And they are all compatible with any of the walls that you can find on the core configurer, right? What do I call it? The core frame builder, I think I called it. So the way that it works, you can go now to balancedisc.com. Under the 50/50 tab, you'll see a selection for customize or build your own core frame, I think it's called. You can go in, you can select what color core you want, what color walls you want, which model walls you want, and then which color axles you want. We don't only make black axles, but we have silver axles. Do I have silver axles here? I don't have any silver axles here. We have silver axles and we have gold axles. Gold axles look really great with the black frames. You can do a black core with black frames and gold axles. Really, really good look. All of the walls that were previously available are available in this new system. So if you wanted to get a skate, we wanted to get a frame that had a orange core with a white dark mage wall with silver axles, you now can do it. It's a really easy, customizable bundler that you can go through, click a few things, and then you can add it to your cart. We're also adding a new color. So with Fitty Fitty and Compass, we've had yellow frames released. We wanted to do a yellow frame for the large balance, the extra large balance. So this is a extra large 290 millimeter core with the prime frame in yellow filament. So this one is a large and this is a extra large. So you can see the difference. Slightly longer, only 10 millimeters on each length. The groove is the same, the split is the same, but the outside is slightly longer. Looking at the yellows, they're a pretty good match. This printed material is a little bit brighter. The molded material, a little bit creamier, but they are a very close match. So now you're able, if you already have 270 or 290 millimeter cores, you can get the yellow prime walls in yellow. You can also order anything from our core market in yellow. So any of the designers used to be available in black and white. Now you can get them as well in yellow. And again, you can select what color core you want, color filament, and color axles, trying to make it super customizable for you to pick whatever you want. We haven't done ready to roll yet. That's going to come. The problem with ready to roll is not every frame handles the same size wheels. It's easy for us to do ready to rolls in a prime frame because I know that flat, you're maxed at 60s, and anti-rocker, you're maxed at 65 with anti-rocker wheels on the inside. Balance 2s, maxed at 60s, anti-rocker, 65s, anti-rocker wheels in the middle. If you're getting into designer walls, sometimes they're flat 60s, sometimes they're anti-rocker 65, sometimes they're mixed sizes with 60s and 55s. It's kind of the Wild West. We will get to a point where we're able to do ready to roll setups, but for now, you'll be able to customize your core, your wall, and your axles. We'll take care of the frame spacers. We'll make sure that you're ready to go. And it's a nice, easy checkout process so you can get whatever you want. Support the designers. Every time we sell a pair of frames, they get $10 royalty. It's a really great way for a designer to make a little bit of passive income. It's not a crazy amount, but you know, we're usually printing frames nonstop. So we go through about 4 or 5 frames a week. Make a good frame wall, it could be you. Finally, so each of these designers has submitted their design to the frame market. There's a form at the bottom of the page. If you go to Core Frame Market, it will redirect you over to the fittyfitty.com/core developer, core system, I think, /core system, core-system. Read all the information, download the core developer kit. You can purchase a developer bundle if you want just a core and some axles. We'll be able to help you there. All the way at the bottom, there is a form that you need to fill out. If you have a frame wall that you're ready to submit to the system, you want it to be available on the Balance Distribution website, fill out the form. We will get in contact with you. We will ask you for your walls so that we can take a look at it. We'll do a sample print, make sure that everything fits the way that it should. We'll take some pictures and we will create your listing for you, and we'll have you up on the market. Usually takes about a week from submission to us having it up and running. Obviously, the printers are super busy. It might take a little bit longer, but usually takes about a week to get there. And like I said, we have about 10 designers who have contacted us, and we have, 7 or 8 walls that are already on the shop. We would love to ask any of those designers who are still interested in submitting walls. There was a limit when we first launched to avoid oversaturation of walls, that designers could only have one wall per person, one wall design per person on the shop. And I think we're at a point now, it's been 2 years, where I think opening it up to a couple more would be good. So now we're going to expand it to 2 walls. So any designers out there who are listening, you can now submit a second wall if you're interested in having a second wall up on the site. Same deal goes, scroll to the bottom, put in your information. We will set up a new Dropbox location so that you can upload your STLs. We will get a listing ready for you. Obviously, anything goes. Make sure that it's fun to skate. We don't want to deal with returns. We don't want to deal with something that's just dumb, like some silly idea. If you can actually skate it, if it's a design that you're really excited about, we want to help you sell it. And now it's even better because we're able to offer more customization and more discoverability. These walls show up as a listing within the 50/50 ecosystem. If people are buying wheels, the system might recommend that they look into walls. It's a great way to get discovered. We always link out to your website as well. So if a customer wants something more custom color, or maybe wants a slight tweak to the frame design, we always link out to you so that you can get in contact with the customers that place orders. So lots changing. I'm really thrilled with the success of the core frame market. I think this is a really great next step, integrating it closer with balanced dist, allowing people to buy walls and then add some bearings on, or maybe they wanted to buy wheels and then they see that there's another frame that they were interested in. A lot of options now, a lot of ways for people to discover the amazing designs that these designers are creating out there. I'm really excited about it. More to come. We're still progressing through this. I've got a lot of plans for the core system. I think this is a really good check-in time. The first 2 years has been a huge success. I really cannot wait to see what the designers come up in the next couple of years. As skating progresses, it's been really great to see people's minds turning and coming up with these really, really crazy ideas that, some people might love. So why not share them with the world, make a little bit of money, and yeah, really, really great time. Anyway, that is our update. Again, anybody who's ever purchased a 3D printed frame, whether from us or from a designer, thank you for your confidence. Thank you for trying us out. It is a lot of fun. I absolutely love skating 3D printed frames. I don't do it often enough because I have enough injection molded frames that I am pretty comfortable with. But when we are testing new frames, when we were testing the standard frames, we would 3D print them, put them on a core. It is a great way to try out a new groove, try out a new split, try out a new rocker. It's a really, really great system. And I'm really, really happy we were able to distribute it to the world for free so that people could try it out. And again, thank you all for the support for us at 50/50, as well as all of the designers out there. All right. Very excited. Exciting times. Exciting times. Who would have thought 20 years ago when we were designing this stuff that there'd be a time when there'd be multiple frame walls available for the system. There'd be a system that you could just click a button and the next day the frames would be presented, printed out of filament. It's really, really amazing. All right, it's 10:30. I am going to go down to the bottom. I'm going to scroll and see if I can get more questions. Again, last questions. If you've got questions, please make sure that you tag Back to Blading in the chat. I've got a bunch of questions here, and I'm going to go through them as quickly as I can before my voice dies out. I need to do this more often so that I can stay in shape, but no question is too dumb. I love the dumb questions as well as the good questions. If you have a problem that you haven't been able to solve, this is a great opportunity to ask. If you're watching this in the future, feel free to leave a comment in the video. Another great way to get your question answered. I do read all of the comments, so make sure that you put your comment in there. I'd love to answer it and at least point you in the right direction. All right, Lost Bearings. Hey, been a while, buddy. Glad I caught the show. What have you been doing to take care of yourself? New brand, skates, wheels, frames, who knows what else is coming? How's the self-care routine? Really great question. I have been doing good lately. Yeah, I've been doing good. I stopped working out. I was in a really big physical fitness kick for a couple of months, actually. When I was working out twice a week, 3 times a week. And I mentioned at the top of the show, if you weren't here for the beginning, I got into it in the very, very beginning of the show, but I had a bit of a health scare with some swollen lymph nodes that the doctor wasn't sure was a fine thing, so I ended up getting a CT scan and a little bit of a concern there, but definitely feeling better now. I didn't mention I did start doing a neti pot. I don't know if you've done a neti pot before, but it is extremely gross and it makes you feel like you're drowning. But it worked really well, and my neck is cleared up pretty nicely. So highly recommend that. Not doing enough to take time away. It's super stressful right now. I've got way too much going on. We've got this skate company that I'm launching, and it should be available in the next couple of weeks for people to take a look at. And that's scary. And I'm spending a lot of time with that, but trying to manage everything out, not skating as much as I would like. It's been super hot here in North Carolina. It's starting to get cool though. I do hope to skate this weekend. Overall it's good. Thanks for asking. It's been a tumultuous summer. I'm really looking forward to the next couple of months, especially after the skates get here and I can kind of exhale a little bit. Stubbs, Fritz at Carrier Skate Shops in Plano, Texas, said he was going to try getting them for a friend and I. Are they perhaps one of the shops? I don't know Fritz. I know Fritz. I know of Fritz, but I've never spoken with Fritz. They haven't reached out, so I would love to speak more to them. I mentioned earlier that standard's only going to be available at a few shops to start with. The main reason for that is with all of my product launches, something always goes wrong. That's just the nature of the beast. Balance 2, I think, was fine. Prime, actually, I think Prime was fine too. The original Balance, there was something funky with it. I was a little freaked out with wheels. We didn't have any issues, but I'm always very hesitant to go full commit on my first launch. So what I'd like to do is control the exposure. So it's kind of like a limited release to a group of trusted shops that I've dealt with a lot. And I know that if something goes wrong, they will tell me and I'll be able to work directly with them to get warranties, to get replacements, things like that. I've never made a skate before. I don't know what I don't know. And I want to know that when I release this product into the wild, that I'm not going to have, be drowning in complaints and customer service if there's a problem. So going with shops that I know that I've dealt with is the main reason why I'm sticking with only a few shops to begin with. I do hope, we plan on doing the initial launch in, October, November, whenever the skates end up getting here. It's hard to say with China. Hoping that it's October. We should start production soon, but you never know. I do hope that with spring's launch, we can go full out. I'll get that first run jitters out of me. I'll be able to sell to any shops that need skates. We do plan, depending on how quickly we sell through, we do plan on starting production as quickly as possible because we've got more skates that we'd like to make. We've got our first signature skate that we've been working on that we want to get out there. So there's a lot to do, but I need to make sure that I get through this first one first. So hopefully by spring, we'll be able to have skates. Now, obviously, if there's skates here on hand, and if we're not bringing in a ton of skates, but if we have skates still on hand, and all the shops have what they need, and they're in a good place, we would be more than happy to send some skates to another shop. Again, assuming that we can get through that first launch, make sure that there's no crazy hiccups, because I take customer service really seriously, and I want to make sure that I can manage it if something horrible happens. But thank you for the support. I'd love to get some skates out in Texas. I love the scene. I love everything they're doing over at Jumbo, and I know a lot of guys that live out there, and it's a great scene. I'd love to be part of it. Thank you for asking. Joy Roxville, are you going to compare different prime walls still? I came here for wall talk. Yes, I did just compare some walls. There are more walls. If you go to the website, you can see all of the designs out there. There's so many great walls. I don't want to single one out. We sell a lot of the walls pretty equally, actually. There's a few walls that we sell more than others, but once the shop starts getting more busy, you'll be able to see what the most popular walls are. And that will hopefully happen within the next couple of weeks, and you'll be able to see which ones are popular, which ones aren't. And then with designers hopefully submitting additional walls, we'll have a lot of great options out there for you. Tree, hey Tree, creamy or crunchy peanut butter. Depends on the application. Our dogs need to take medication. So when I am feeding the dogs their medication, we use creamy peanut butter. I think we use Jif with no sugar added. It is a pre-mixed, I think it has palm oil that keeps it shelf stable. And then for myself, I like crunchy peanut butter, especially if I'm having strawberry jam on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my jam. Great question. Darren, hope I didn't miss much. I'll watch it later. Hey Lawrence, are your skates out and slowly picking up speed with my grinds? Awesome help, thanks. Excellent, Darren. Thank you for checking in. The skates are not out yet. We should have a announcement video in the next week or so where I can detail everything, and then we will have a very geeky, intimate gear talk where I can break down every decision that we've made. There are 30 plus decisions that we've made with these skates that I think are going to show how much I care and how much of my passion of skating has gone into these skates. If you're watching this now, definitely cannot wait to share it with you all. I think you're going to really love that show. Great to hear that you're picking up speed with grinds. I don't think you realize how slow you are at grinds until you skate with somebody better than you. So it's always a good thing to skate with somebody. If you have an option to skate with somebody, or at least watch somebody skate that is a little bit more experienced than you, and you'll see what speed can do. Skating fast to a grind is scary, but once you get that control and you jump on, it's really like surfing. You're just kind of floating down. So great to hear that you're getting better at it, more comfortable with it. And really, really excited to see some clips. Make sure that you tag me back to blading. You know where to find me. Tree, hey, super chat from Tree. What's up? This is Lawrence from Fitty Fitty. Just want to introduce Robert for his profile for VG17. Much love. That's right. Misspelled, by the way. I was just talking with Matt Lyon today about misspellings. Dave Payne misspelled my name. That's okay. We used 2 frames as our what's it called? A clacker. And Rob G said, Fitty Fitty take 3, because it took a few attempts to get that sorted. That was VG17, Rob Guerrero's VG profile. We did that at my office. That was actually the desk that I sat at for Fitty Fitty. And then you saw Ethan and Jess downstairs. They were in the England clothing room. There was a room that was kind of like the art studio that they sat at. We loved that. That was in Costa Mesa, California. And then funny enough, right next door, we got 2 units. Right next door was USD. So we had USD on one side and then England and Fitty Fitty on the other side. It was a really, really great setup. Those were magical times. very, very happy with the way that those were. Great memories. And thank you for the super chat, the 976. Always appreciate it. All of the super chats go to the Helmet Initiative. So again, thank you for your contribution and thanks for your support. Brandon Mixkel, are you going to re-release the John Frum Prime or even just the gold cores? That is a great question. Let me see what I can do with gold cores. They might still have some at the warehouse. We won't re-release the John Frum Prime frame. I don't like re-releasing products. I do like keeping like black, frames in stock. That's less of a re-release and more just keeping things in stock. John's frame was amazing, and I love the gold cores. I'd love to see if we could do some different colored cores, especially now that I have a way to sell them and have them as like, any color imaginable. You can have a few limited run of cores and then have them with whatever walls we've got, either from the Prime walls or from the designers. I'm excited about it. So that will be a list of things that I ask the factory. As soon as we get through this skate thing, it's the same factory, so they're really busy with the skates. As soon as that's done, I'll see if I can get some more gold cores in here. A couple more questions. Chris Pauly, I need those white axles. I mean, you're going to need to find somebody who knows paint, because we don't do white axles. I do think that maybe we could. Again, I'll add that to my list of things to ask the factory about. If we could do white axles, that would be pretty cool. It would be painted axles, but the black axles are painted. The thing about the black axles is it's also black underneath. So if it chips, it's going to look normal. Black axles with white paint doesn't look great. Right. 2 more questions. Mr. Darren 25, 30 years for Fitty is coming up soon. Any special plans for the anniversary? Nothing yet to report. We've thought about things. Fitty started in 95, I think, is the day that we agreed on. And the reason that it was 95, technically I think 94 is when Jess and Ted started really working through it. But 95 is the date that we agreed on because that was the date of the first Daily Bread ad with Dave Cardoza. And that was the first time that Fitty, it was before there was a logo, it was before there was really a product. It was the 50-50, the half and half grind plate. 30 years is coming up though. I'm not sure what we'll do. We'll find something. I'll find something. Those stupid dates like that, I love celebrating stupid dates like that. Definitely, good call out. BIMS, so next Gear Talk will be the rollout of Standard. Mark my words, next Gear Talk will be the rollout of Standard. I was planning on it being this Gear Talk, but it took a little bit longer to get here. I did have the skates. I was ready for it, but we're still working, and I don't want to announce before everything is out there. So we're going to do, we shot a video over the weekend. We're going to release that video. We're going to have the updated website. The samples are now with a photographer shooting a lot of product shots for us so that we can update the website. I want to make sure that this brand stands alone. It is a standard skate company. It's not Lawrence's skates. It's not Back to Blading skates. It is its own brand. It's not 50-50. It's not Compass. It's not Chroma. It's Standard Skate Co. It has to come across right. And it's really important to me that this is a brand that can just be for everybody. It is agnostic. It is a brand that's really refined, really clean, really focused on the technology, but it's also really focused on a skate that anybody can fit. Anybody, the aesthetics looks good, and you can pull it off, no problem. Making sure that we tell that story is really important to me. So I need to get to that point. Soon as the video is out, I'll do my Gear Talk, and then I'll go out there and skate them, and we'll do pre-orders. That's my goal. Should be in the next couple of weeks. Again, thank you all for your patience. I think we announced Standard at Bitter Cold. When was that? February. So where are we at? 6 months from then? Things take time. This took a lot longer than I had expected, but it's going to be worth the wait. All right. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. I always do the COVID thing, but I just wanted to remind everybody there is a new vaccine coming out next week, probably. If you're into that sort of thing, if you take a flu shot, if you don't like getting the flu and you get a flu shot, no reason you shouldn't get the COVID vax. They're saying that it's really effective against the thing that's going around right now. I've had a bunch of coworkers out with COVID. It's just the sort of thing. It's kind of come to that point where there were times during Gear Talk, in 2020 when it was scary times and we didn't know what was going on. It's a lot less scary now. I think, the way that the virus has matured or evolved, it's a lot less dangerous, but I don't like getting sick. So I'm looking forward to getting the vaccine so that I can just keep doing what I do, just like I got the flu shot every year. I just don't like getting sick. So look into getting that. I don't mask, just in case anybody's curious. I don't mask. I try to stay away from people, but I do that always. Maybe if I'm in the crowded room, if I were at a movie. When I saw Barbie, did I mask? I think I masked when I saw Barbie. No? Yeah, I think I masked when I saw Barbie. But otherwise, I think you do you. I just recommend it. Let's not get sick. Keep each other healthy. Get out there and skate. Hope everybody's doing well. Drink lots of water. And make sure that you stretch, wear your helmet. And I'll see you again in 2 weeks.